A 2-mile-wide tornado has swept through a southern suburb of Oklahoma City in the U.S., leaving devastation in its wake. 20 children are among the 91 reported dead.
It was an E4 tornado. It's the second strongest tornado on the scale from E1 to E5. That means winds over 200 miles an hour. The tornado is reportedly 2 miles wide, something you don't see very often here. Wide swaths of residential area have been completely decimated, as though something you'd see after the Hiroshima or Nagasaki atomic bombings. We have rescuers are frantically searching through the rubble, but this is something nearly unprecedented in the area.
The scale of the destruction here is extraordinary.
A tornado so massive and so powerful that it's able to lift pieces of buildings and all the rest, carry them in a cloud above, and eventually deposit them elsewhere. More than 70 miles.
This is terrible. This is war zone terrible.
This was one of about 28 tornadoes that touched down around the area in Oklahoma, Kansas, Illinois, Iowa.
The tornadoes grew to a size I've never seen before, close to a mile wide at times, and it was just so sad because the tornado formed right over the city, and I've never seen anything like it.
You say this is unlike any tornado you've ever seen. What was different about this one?
Dude, that thing is freaking huge. This thing is, it's definitely increasing. It is tearing up everything in its path.
You can't see it, but you can hear it. Terror in the darkness, just as the massive EF5 twister is tearing through Briarwood Elementary. Fifth-grade teacher Robin Dietzick capturing the moment of impact on her cell phone. Listen as she tries to comfort her students, clinging to each other in a darkened bathroom.
It's almost over! I hate this! Honey, it's okay. Oh my God. Oh my God, my house. Oh my God! Oh my God!
More than 24 hours after one of the worst tornadoes in history, rescue crews are still searching for survivors in the ruins of Oklahoma.
Watching what's happening on the screen in utter horror. People who were just a little while ago lived in a town with their neighbors and this morning sent their kids off to school are now on top of piles of completely unrecognizable debris. And they are moving from one place to another, pieces of plywood and insulation and sheetrock. And you wonder, are they hearing sounds from beneath this? There is no ambulance roaring to the rescue. There's no fire truck, no police department coming. Roads are blocked, phone lines are down, cell towers are off, there are fires here and there. Schools have been leveled, where home after home after home after home is reduced to rubble. You look for street signs which no longer exist.
An unusually strong sandstorm swept the Tix County of northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region on Tuesday, damaging houses and crops.
Hailstones attacked several townships in Andin district of Jingxi City. The hailstones lasted for nearly 20 minutes, and the largest being even bigger than an egg. On the same day, many areas in northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region were also hit by hailstones, heavy rains, and sandstorms. More than 533 hectares of crops were damaged by the hailstones.
Terrifying footage shows a tornado tearing its way across the town of Obninsk in central Russia on Thursday. with the funnel cloud touching down in residential areas and passing close to the world's first civilian nuclear plant. Houses were left destroyed by the twister, with dozens of trees and electricity poles being ripped down, leaving residents without electricity.
May continues to bring scant springtime sunshine across Western Europe. Instead, unsettled and unusual weather conditions have hit large parts of the continent. Heavy rain and melting snow causing rivers to overflow has forced hundreds of people out of their homes in eastern Norway. In London, Amsterdam, Frankfurt and Paris, temperatures are between 5 and 10 degrees lower than expected at this time of year. The snowplows are still being used in the Alps. This man in Vosges, eastern France, says he hasn't seen weather like this in his entire life.
Ayer exactamente a las 5:30 de la tarde, este objeto no identificado se precipitó a tierra dejando una estela de humo y luego a su paso de Puno, como ven.
10 News went looking for answers after someone snapped these pictures of an unidentified object flying over the San Diego skyline. Now take a closer look at the left-hand corner of your screen. You can see something there in the sky, and some are calling it Santee's Area 51.
One Santee woman tells us her camera broke just moments after she snapped these photos of the object at this historical barn that has some people wondering about visitors from far, far away.
The KMPH newsroom received dozens of calls and emails from viewers all over the valley about this strange-looking object in the sky. So we sent out one of our photographers who shot this video. Witnesses say it seemed to stay in one place in the sky for nearly 4 hours. Several of you also sent in pictures of the odd orb, and the question everyone is asking is, what is it?
News, the extreme and now deadly weather this holiday weekend. Flash flooding and record rain in the south, nearly 10 inches drenching San Antonio in just 8 hours. Rescue teams working furiously all day. At least one person is dead tonight.
Dangerous flash floods have taken over the city. Almost 10 inches of rain fell in less than 24 hours. Cars and buses engulfed. At every turn, more and more water.
Homes here are submerged, underwater. We've talked to residents that had to be rescued. They've told us they've never seen anything like this before. Literally, refrigerators have been floating in the water, they tell us.
And just a short time ago, reports of a possible tornado touching down in Victoria, Texas. That's south of all of that rain. And in the Northeast tonight, snowplows clearing the roads in Lake Placid, New York, and elsewhere. What is going on here?
What are we going to be, skiing in July?
Hundreds of plane passengers had their travel plans thrown into chaos this morning as an unusually thick fog blanketed the city. Several flights had to be diverted to Melbourne until the skies here cleared.
The high-pressure system sitting over Adelaide combined with unforecast showers to produce an unusual radiation fog.
Gold Coast homeowners are facing the worst beach erosion in decades, with many fearing their properties will be washed away. Big swells and high tides are stripping away millions of tonnes of sand and potential tourist dollars.
Millionaires Row is in need. Only a few metres is the difference between mansions towering or toppling over Mermaid and Nobby Beach. Cracks are already forming in buildings. Only metres of land stands between waterfront mansions and the ocean at Mermaid Beach. Residents were sandbagging again today as the wind and swell picked up. It's the third time this year Gold Coast beaches have been battered, causing the worst erosion in decades. This isn't the image of the Gold Coast businesses want tourists to see. Bookings at some holiday apartments are down by 30%. Beaches are closed again today where access is a problem.
A vast layer of fog descended on Sydney this morning. It threw travel plans into chaos with dozens of flights cancelled or delayed. It also shut down the harbour and made roads dangerous.
Waking to a morning covered by a giant white blanket. A city of 4.5 million people, somewhere down there. The fog rolled in around 4 a.m. and quickly covered the entire Sydney basin. Everything in it. This one was unusually thick and widespread. You could hear the boats, just couldn't see them. At the airport, 30 flights, mainly international, were diverted to Brisbane, Melbourne, even Canberra.
A rare tornado in Italy has swept through the outskirts of Milan, causing much damage. Amateur video from a moving car showed debris flying as lorries battled against the strong winds. Sheet metal was torn off some warehouse roofs. One local was said to have been slightly injured.
We're following some breaking news, a magnitude 4.6 earthquake hitting off the coast of Santa Barbara.
And it sounded like it was loud too, and then the house was just rocking back and forth, and then the rocking stopped and it went into a rolling motion.
Quicker but a lot thicker. That just about sums up Sydney's second bout this week of heavy morning fog. It caused more flight delays and ferry cancellation.
Our most famous landmark simply vanished from view.
Never this thick in the whole of Sydney covered.
Never really 2 days in a row anyway. It is rare according to the Weather Bureau, and we've been stopped in our tracks by moments like this, the sun poking through and bouncing off this CBD building. In a city famous for its spectacular sights, this week they're looking a little different.
The landmarks which make Sydney, Sydney almost unrecognisable.
Large parts of the US have been placed on alert with fears a powerful weather system could trigger a new round of deadly tornadoes. Several twisters have already hit and authorities warn 60 million Americans are in the storm's path.
A massive, dangerous tornado tearing up Kansas. Within an hour, there was another even larger. In Erie, Pennsylvania, a rare tornado damaged buildings and toppled power lines. Some 21 reported tornadoes in 24 hours, most in Kansas, stretching from Texas north to Michigan, a state that rarely sees twisters. In Illinois, flooding. The power of the storms captured on security cameras at Carl Sandburg College as torrential rain sent floodwaters bursting through the doors. Tonight, no let-up. Watches and warnings cover several states as severe storms target the same communities devastated last week.
Residents on Mexico's southern Pacific coast return home, surrounded by the aftermath of a devastating storm. At least 2 men were killed when Hurricane Barbara hit the area on Wednesday.
The storm made landfall farther east than any other Pacific hurricane in decades.
Bringing it straight to that breaking news overnight, a lethal tornado outbreak in Oklahoma, a state already reeling from that rare EF5 twister that nearly erased the city of Moore.
It's hard to believe, but we've had tornadoes on the ground and aloft in the following places tonight: Oklahoma City, Joplin, Missouri, Moore, Oklahoma, and St. Louis, Missouri. It is an incredible line of violent weather. Oklahoma City has taken up most of the attention because they had an outbreak. The interstates were clogged with traffic. All you could see was headlights.
Thousands were trapped, the highways in perilous gridlock.
I'm telling you, there are thousands and thousands of vehicles. Every road is jammed.
These storms came in the middle of rush hour. Oklahoma's major roads were clogged with people scared, trying to outrun them.
It terrorized motorists over a 2-mile path.
We have debris and torn up towns and parts of cities across several states.
We know that at least 9 are dead, more than 100 injured, as 5 confirmed tornadoes ripped through. Among the dead, a mother and baby believed to have been sucked from their car.
The area was battered by high winds, heavy rain and hail, flooding streets, homes and submerging cars several feet deep. This sinkhole off a main road developed as high waters caused the soil to crumble.
I've talked to old-timers who've lived here their entire lives, and they tell me they've never seen a 2-week period like this in Oklahoma ever.